Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanacharya Yamunatira Vanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Radha Giridhari ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Srimad Bhakti Stanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Thakur ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for being here in class. And we know we had a long night yesterday. So we are continue our morning readings on Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is going to be, unfortunately, we don't have a verse today written on the board. But we are reading from Canto 9, Chapter 9, and today text 29. If you'd like to open your devices and chant along. Esha hi Brāhmaṇo vidvams tapaha shila gunanvitaha ariradhayashur brahma maha purusha sangnitam. Before I go on, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Esha hi Brāhmaṇo vidvams tapashila gunanvitaha hariradhyayishur brahma mahapurusha sangnitam sarvabhutatma bhavena vrutesh antarhitam gunai. Esha hi Brāhmaṇo vidvams tapashila gunanvitaha hariradhyayishur brahma mahapurusha sangnitam sarvabhutatma bhavena bhutesh antarhitam gunai. Esha hi Brāhmaṇo vidvams tapashila gunanvitaha hariradhyayishur brahma mahapurusha sangnitam sarvabhutatma bhavena bhuteshantarhitam gunai. Shahi Brāhmaṇo vidvams tapashila gunanvitaha hariradhyayishur brahma mahapurusha sangitam sarvabhutatma bhavena bhuteshanarhitam gunai. bhavena. Anyone else? Tapashila gunanvitaha vinadayishu brahma mahapurusha sangitam sarvabhutatma bhavena uteshana hitam gunai. Esha hi brahmano vidvams tapashila gunanvitaha viradayishur brahma mahapurusha samgitam bhavena. Anyone online would like to chant this verse? Eshaha, this, he, indeed, Brāhmaṇa, a qualified Brahman, Vidvan, learned in Vedic knowledge, Tapaha, austerity, Shila, good behavior, Gunanvitaha, endowed with all good qualities, Ariradhya Ishuhu, desiring to be engaged in worshipping, Brahma, the Supreme Brahman, Mahapurusha, the Supreme Person, Krishna, Sangitam, known as Sarvabhuta, of all living entities, Atma Bhavena, as the Supersoul, Bhuteshu, in every living entity, Antarhitam, within the court of the heart, Gunaihi, by qualities. Translation and purport. Here is a learned, highly qualified Brahmana, engaged in performing austerity and eagerly desiring to worship the Supreme Lord, the Supersoul who lives within the core of the heart in all living entities. Purport. The wife of the Brahmana did not regard her husband as a superficial Brahmana, who was called a Brahmana merely because he was born of a Brahmana family. Rather, this Brahmana was actually qualified with the Brahminical symptoms. Yasya ya lakshanam proktam, Srimad Bhagavatam 7:11-35. The symptoms of a Brahmana are stated in the Shastra. Shamodama tapo shaucham kshantirajavam evacha Jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma sabhavajam. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom, knowledge, and religiousness. These are the qualities by which the Brahmanas work. Bhagavad Gita 18.42. Not only must the Brahmana be qualified, but he must also engage in actual Brahminical activities. Simply to be qualified is not enough. One must engage in the Brahman's duties. The duty of a Brahmana is to know the Param Brahma, Krishna. Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. Bhagavad Gita 10.12. Because this Brahmana was actually qualified and was also engaged in Brahminical activities, Brahma Karma, Bhagavad Gita 18.42, killing him would be a greatly sinful act. And the Brahman's wife requested that he not be killed. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatrubhishcha Kripa Sindhuve Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvichesha Shunyvari Pashyati Desha Tarine. So this is the wife of a Brahmana. who is very much qualified, as we read in this text. He's eagerly designed to worship the Supreme Lord. And that what makes a Brahmana qualified is that he's not just a Brahmana by birth, but by qualities. And he wishes to know Param Brahma, Krishna. This chapter of the Bhagavatam is wonderful. 9th chapter describes, first we learn from the example of Bhagirath, who brought the Ganges to help his forefathers to be revived in life. And then they went to heavenly planets. Then now we're reading of Sudasa, who became a Rakshasa, a man-eater, upon the curse of his spiritual master, Vasishtha Muni. And then in a later part of this chapter, we'll learn about Khatvanga, who attained the perfection of human life in just a moment. I was thinking about this, and especially relating to yesterday, these examples that we have. Yesterday's Mahaharina, beautiful yagya that we all participated in, which was wonderful in many ways. So Maharaj Khatvanga, he attained the perfection. He was fighting on the side of the Devatas against Asuras, and he pleased them very much. So they gave him benedictions. And at first, before receiving benedictions, he asked, how long do I have to live? Just a moment. What do I do if I have just a moment to live? Actually, if you think about death, even now, you'll understand that you can't be an atheist. It doesn't make any sense, you know. Like, for example, the atheists, they make an argument that there's no all-powerful, all-knowing person out there. This just doesn't exist. But if you ask them, are you a being also, a living being? Are you all-powerful? Then they say, no, I'm not all-powerful. Then we can conclude that they cannot, don't have perfect knowledge. They cannot claim completely and with full confidence that this being doesn't exist. So the farthest they can go is to become an agnostic, not an atheist. So for some people, Krishna consciousness is not urgent or important. Like people, yesterday we were meeting people who were indifferent to what we were doing during the Mahaharinam in downtown. So they were not interested. They didn't think that it was important. But for some, it's urgent but not important. That could be an example of someone who comes to the temple to do a project. He's not a devotee maybe, but he was asked by someone, a family member, someone, a friend, to do something, and it's important to him because he wants to please devotees. But it's not so... No, it's urgent. No, I meant to say it's urgent, but it's not so important. The Krishna consciousness itself. And then we also have examples of someone who thinks that it's important but not urgent. Krishna consciousness is important but not urgent. It's important to me in the long run, but it's not so urgent. I don't fully surrender to the process of Krishna consciousness, of bhakti yoga. But Khatvanga, Maharaj Khatvanga is a perfect example who was taking Krishna consciousness in this manner of being important and urgent to him. This example teaches that we have to go deep into our spiritual practice. When we chant and hear, it should be life or death type of moment, especially chanting, because that's the way we can really take it up seriously if we approach the holy name with that in a state of humility. Our spiritual masters, Srila Prabhupada and great sadhus in our movement, they have a living faith in the holy name. And when they pick up the beads, they actually feel happy and they look forward to chanting. They want to meet Krishna in the holy name. So to have that type of faith, to develop it, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches a very simple formula. Trinatapi sunichena. So this what will help us to become progressive in our Krishna consciousness is to take it not lightly, but take it with urgency and importancy. Then in the example of Bhagirath, we learned that Mother Ganges was pleased with the austerities he performed, and she was ready to give him benedictions, but she had two requests. that first request is that I will fall on this planet with great force. So who will sustain that force? How can we go about that? And we learned that Bhagirath asked Lord Shiva to help sustain that force. And the second request was that people will come and bathe in my water to cleanse themselves. But the reactions of self-indulgence will remain there in the water. So how do we go about that? And we'll learn, and Bhagirath, he spoke about this, and he said to Mother Ganges that all the saintly, pure Vaishnavas will come, and they will cleanse. They will actually take these reactions. And in this way, the reactions of sinful life will be counteracted. And how are they able to do that? How pure Vaishnavas able to do that? Take all these reactions, counteract the reactions of sinful life of all other people who bathe in the Ganges. Maya sakta manaparta, they're always attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in their mind. Tirti kurvanti tirtani, swanta stena gatabrita. And also in this verse we hear a similar phrase, Bhutesh antar hitam gunai, is that Brahmanas, or pure Vaishnavas, they actually carry the Lord within, and they know that He lives within, and they perform austerities and eagerly desire to worship Him. So pure Vaishnavas, they have only one desire, is unalloyed devotional service. Srila Prabhupada said that the real qualification of a pure devotee is to become wrapped in the thought of Krishna favorably. Right? So pure Vaishnavas, pure devotees, all they want is that unalloyed service. Unalloyed service means Shravanam and Kirtanam. Just like yesterday, by Shravanam and Kirtanam, by chanting and hearing, we were able to rectify this polluted atmosphere in downtown of San Diego. And similarly, in our consciousness, in our life, by proper Shravanam and Kirtanam, we can also rectify this mentality of being sinful, of being the enjoyer. Yes, the holy name is very powerful. This is the greatest yajna. It's especially powerful because when devotees come and they have the same intention, the same goal, the same objective, they want to purely chant and inspire others to do so. They want to engage others, make others dance like we did yesterday, jumping so high. And when we have relationships, when we have relationships with each other, it's also a powerful practice. Especially if we do some service together and we come to chant the holy name, it's really very powerful practice. That's why it's Yuga Dharma in this age, chanting the holy names. And now we come into example of Sodasa and his wife Damayanti. She was very thoughtful because at some point when Sodasa was cursed by his spiritual master, he wanted to curse him back, but she stopped him. Don't do that. It's actually a third offense to the holy name. Don't do that. Be wise. And Sodasa, he had three names. Sodasa, this is the name by birth. Then Mitrasaha, it means sunless. And Kalmashapada, this name he received after he became cursed to become a man-eater. And the curse that he received actually was a mistake. If we go a little bit back to this chapter, we'll see that at some point he went to the forest, Sodasa went to the forest, and he saw two men. They were Rakshasas. So he killed one, but another one was a brother. He didn't kill. So that brother wanted to take revenge on him. And he went into his house and he cooked meat, flesh of a human being. And at that point, Vasishtha Muni was visiting. So that was served to his spiritual master, and he became so angry. How can you serve me that? This is abominable. And then he cursed Sodasa to become a man-eater. And like I said, yes, Sodasa, he took water and he chanted this Shapa mantra. Shapa means curse. He became ready. He wanted to curse his spiritual master. But Madhyanti, stop them from that. And now this wife of a Brahmana, she's trying to stop Sudasa. Now he's, of course, after being cursed, he can't do anything to retaliate that curse. He's acting like a Rakshasa. Therefore, he sees that Brahmana and he's ready to devour him. But the wife is saying, no, don't do that. It's not who you are. You're not a man-eater. You're actually a descendant of Maharaj Ikshvaku. You're a great fighter, a great king. Don't do that. Don't kill a Brahmana. Human body is meant for universal benefits, she says. What to speak of a body of a Brahmana, especially a qualified Brahmana, as we read here in this verse. So I also looked up a few things about the qualities of a Brahmana I wanted to share with you. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he comments on this verse in the Bhagavad Gita 1842. And he says that the Brahmana is predominantly, he's in the mode of goodness, sattva. Yet the practice and qualities in the mode of goodness, they are invaluable if we're not in touch with devotional aspect of Krishna, devotional energy of Krishna, Swarupa Shakti. Yeah. I'm sorry, they are you say invaluable? Valueless. Okay, thank you for this. So they're not valuable if they're not in touch with devotion. So we should as Brahmanas, as someone who's been trained to be a Brahmana, of course, Srila Prabhupada would emphasize, and we know that Brahmanas are made by qualities, by diksha, by initiation. And by contacting this Swarupa Shakti, devotional energy of Krishna, in other words, by practicing bhakti, by practicing devotional activities, you become a Brahmana. And also by Shravanam, Kirtanam, by association, you become a Brahmana. Your qualities, they change. Otherwise, if we're not in touch with devotional activities, still Brahmanas will act, they will do things, but their endeavors will be covered by fault. That's also explained in further text in Bhagavad Gita in the 18th chapter. There are defects in the work of a Brahmana. So devotees, they are acting in the mode of detachment, as taught by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Vairagya Vidya, Nija Bhakti, Yoga. Everything in this world becomes simultaneously an embodiment of the Lord's mercy, and some people are aware, some even people who are not devotees, they see that they're grateful. Whatever things we receive, this is the mercy of Krishna, they're grateful for that. But devotees, they go further, they look for the things that they obtain and have in this world as an opportunity, they use them as an opportunity for the loving exchanges with Krishna. That's what devotional activities are. So, bhakti is a function of the internal energy of Krishna, Swarupa Shakti. And coming from Krishna, it actually, through the spiritual master, spiritualizes the activities of a Brahmana, of a devotee. So that's how devotional service, our attempt of devotional service is being presented to Krishna by the mercy of a spiritual master. And interestingly, Krishna speaks about attaining this platform of devotional service. Brahma bhuta prasanatma na shochiti na kangshiti sama sarveshu bhutishu mad bhaktim labate param. You attain that, you discover it within yourself, it's already there. So this bhakti, this love for Krishna is already there. Just like a golden jewel hidden by a mixture of other things. Mud, hidden mud. So because we are, maybe not you, but people in general, they nourish the different bijas of jnana and karma. Their bhakti is not really thoroughly formed and then don't take advantage. They don't have interest in practicing devotional activities. But devotees who come in contact with Swarupa Shakti, internal potency, internal energy of Krishna, they, yes, by this process of hearing and chanting, they see how valuable it is to please Krishna, to do devotional activities for his pleasure. And then it's interesting how Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur translates this verse also, especially the word astikyam. He says it's a faith in scripture. Jnanam vijnanam astikyam. Jnana means knowledge, vijnana means realized knowledge or understanding how this knowledge is applied in life of a devotee. And astikyam, the first and most important principle is that I have faith in scripture. I'm associating with scripture on that basis. I have faith in scripture. And from understanding comes control of the senses and mind. Shama. Devotees and Brahmanas, when they come to a certain place, because they shama, they peaceful, they make others peaceful. And because they are self-controlled and they chant the holy name of Krishna, they inspire others to chant the holy name of Krishna. And they're peacemakers. So if they come in association of devotees, and even if there's a tinge of some kind of tension, because Brahmanas are present there, true Brahmanas, they make the mind peaceful, and devotees feel inclined to be together, inclined to cooperate. That's also what we experienced yesterday. We come from different areas, from ISV, from Los Angeles, but we came together and we were enthusiastically chanting and distributing this holy name to others in the mood of cooperation. We were dancing. It was so wonderful. So the more we do that in this new year, the more we please Krishna, and the more we attain that platform of qualifications, the qualities of the Brahmana as mentioned in this verse. Yasya yad lakshanam proktam. The qualities of, this is Narada Muni speaking in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 7th canto. He explains that, yes, Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras, we can recognize them by their qualities. By now an example of a Brahmana, but the symptoms are clear. Narada Muni actually, he mentions a verse in the 7th canto, which resembles the verse in the Bhagavad Gita, 7:11-21. Shamo dhamma tapa shocham santosha kshantirājavam. Just a few different words. Jnanam diyachatatmadvam satyam cha brahma lakshanam. Symptoms of a Brahmana are control of the mind, control of the senses, austerity and penance, cleanliness, satisfaction, forgiveness, simplicity, knowledge, mercy, truthfulness, and complete surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And one of the duties of a Brahmana is to educate, teach, to speak, glorify Krishna, right? Brahma, karma. The duty is to know the Param Brahma, and when you know Krishna, when you know Param Brahma, then you want to give and teach, train others. So when you really embody these qualities, you go on and make other people into Brahmanas. So we come into the end of the class. It's maybe a short one, but I wanted to leave some time maybe for you to reflect and speak about the experience of yesterday chanting on the streets. If anyone would like to share something, it would be wonderful to hear from you. Please don't hesitate to say a few words. Yeah, it's right there behind. Oh, okay.
Hare Krishna, Dvijamani Gaura Prabhu, or Dvijamani. Thank you for your beautiful presentation, for your class. So in regards to the Harinam yesterday, definitely was really nice. It's my first time coming to this Harinam. And it looks very similar than the Harinam that we do for Halloween in LA. The type of people who gather there, and the atmosphere is very similar. And it's amazing how Mahaprabhu's mercy is so amazing that people in that condition are able to chant and to get some special taste for the holy name, because they get induced to chant and they feel something. Mahaprabhu is sharing some mercy, you know. And also how everybody was very enthusiastic, you know, dancing and chanting. I see the devotees' faces were so happy, so enthusiastic. That also people see that. When people see faces happy and chanting, and you know, especially that they look joyful, they also, it gets attention from people, Hey, these people are doing something which is giving them results. They are happy, and they also want to follow. So that was very, very nice. And then, can I ask one question in regard to your class?
Yeah.
Okay. So you were mentioned that we should go deep in our practice, more deeper into our practice, and you give the example of the holy name, how we should chant. So, how to go deeper in our relationship amongst devotees? Because sometimes relationships are going in the right direction, but sometimes something happens. So how to actually be more consistently and not just appreciate, but to know how to deal, when and go deeper into and to maintain good Vaishnava relationships.
Yeah, it's a question that is always on our mind, right? As devotees, we want to go deeper and make more connections and serve along with the Vaishnavas. And actually, I was reflecting on that too, and I was, and I will be continuously praying that in this new year for all of us, this will manifest, that we have stronger and deeper relationship with the Vaishnavas, because according to our most according to Rupa Goswami and most potent principles of devotional service, is that we chant the holy name, we go to holy places, we worship the deities, and make connections with serve the Vaishnavas. But we do that all together. We don't do it all by ourselves. So it's very much encouraged by Rupa Goswami to do things together with other devotees, with other Vaishnavas. So to go deeper in that practice, sometimes as we know in material life, if we don't appreciate something, we can lose it, and then we'll begin to appreciate. So yeah, if we have the understanding that the relationships are important, and maybe to some degree it's not working out as we want, we can always pray for that to happen, and also learn ourselves by approaching the scripture, for example, and by approaching those devotees who are preaching, those devotees who are active and have that realization, and they personally embody this, they have a good relationship. We can serve them, and we can serve the scripture by attentively hearing the pastimes in which, this principle of friendship is emphasized. Steve Jobs, he said one time that everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die to get there. So we should really desire Vaishnava relationship, this going deeper into it, in such a way as I mentioned also, is that when we chant and hear, when we read Srimad Bhagavatam, it should be life or death. It should be our greatest, most important priority. And of course, Priti Lakshanam are also there, serving the Vaishnavas in this way. We all know that we cook for them, make gifts, accept them also, don't forget to accept, and reveal our minds. So I've been noticing that sometimes revealing the heart is so crucial. Even if you don't know someone that well, but you begin to reveal your heart, you begin to ask questions about, something that is important to you in spiritual practice, along especially with spiritual master, revealing your mind in this way. Of course, technically, because you can't just speak about everything. You have to be very considerate when you're speaking with your spiritual master, and not just speak on anything you want. It should be an important question. Important question means that it's been in your heart. You sincerely want to understand, right? It's something that is important to you at a time. And sometimes we can, of course, ask more senior devotees, but it's also essential and important to approach a spiritual master with certain deep questions and important questions. But this is something I would say, is that just like anything, we need to put time and efforts and prayers into especially relationship with devotees. It's actually the greatest boon and mercy when we become close with someone, even just one or two persons. My Guru Maharaj, he would give an example how in the beginning of the Soviet times, when devotees were associating with each other, they were a little bit fanatic and mad after the practices of especially chanting the holy name. And whenever they would greet each other, they would just start chanting and there was like kirtan. Even if it's just one person, they would meet and start glorifying Krishna by chanting. And then they would have kirtan together for some time. So, but yeah, this is relationship need to be cultivated on the basis of Shravanam Kirtanam is best. But with some devotees, it's just naturally that there will be more closeliness and more distance, so it's something that we experience and Srila Prabhupada would emphasize, and it makes so much sense that we should be friendly towards everyone. But by the mercy of Krishna, somehow we become very close with someone, and that's a benediction, that's a blessing. So we can pray for that. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Prabhu, I was just seeing the contrast yesterday. There were people fighting on the other side, and here in this side we were dancing. I mean, those people have spent maybe thousands of dollars in order to be there, and materially speaking, they might be well off, well-to-do. They have whatever they need materialistically, but they character-wise, they are abominable. As Prabhupada says, uses the word abominable. Breaking 4 regulative principles on the New Year Eve. I mean, it's worse than animals, but such kind of behavior is accepted in the society, so we can see the advancement of the society from this. And so I was thinking that Prabhupada, as an acharya, it was his duty to distinguish reality from illusion for the welfare of all. So he used those strong words to show us who we are. And we can see that how people were feeling enlivened in the chanting. We were not charging them anything. Of course, they would have paid those other places so much money. But this was free, really. The best things in the world are free. So I was just remembering that this is Lord Chaitanya's mercy, where we are coming together. We are feeling happy and we are sharing with others. And the more we share, the more it increases. It actually increases.
Yeah.
So it was. And thank you for your class. I really like the point about urgent, important. So I was connecting this to the verse in Bhagavad Gita 4:40, where Krishna says, Agnischa Shradhanascha Samshyatma Vinashyati. That there are people who are foolish, who are ignorant. They just don't care. For them, it's neither urgent nor important. But there might be people who are aware of this knowledge. Sometimes it becomes urgent out of some obligation, but it's not important to them. And third is they might know the value of this knowledge, importance of this knowledge. They have faith in Krishna's words, but they don't practice. So for them, it's not urgent. And so for all these people, there's no happiness in this world or the next. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, it's such a big contrast, right, with seeing, especially if you spend time with devotees and in an environment of a temple or holy place, and you go out to downtown San Diego. How people dress, what they do. I was noticing how they would just come right in front of you and just look in your face like that, like, wow, it looks so different, you know. And they were intoxicated, most of them. But happily, some Indian people, they really rejoiced being with us, and they would take the instruments and start playing. Actually, they would just not just lightly take it, but almost forcefully take it from you. So they were enthusiastic, and it was nice. Yeah. And it leaves a big impact. Sometimes we do certain things, we chant Hare Krishna, and we glorify Krishna by distributing Srila Prabhupada's books, by studying them, by teaching, and we don't feel maybe right away, we don't feel like it's giving purification and effect, intense effect, but this yagyas like that, especially Harinam, Sankirtan, book distribution, and chanting outside publicly, it's definitely given us a lot. We'll get proper rest and we'll see it. We'll maybe get up next or today even. We'll chant the holy name and we'll see that Krishna is very pleased with this endeavor to distribute the holy name. And life of a preacher is very adventurous. It's actually the most exciting and the most fun way to live your life is to preach Krishna consciousness, go to different various places, chant and distribute books. And on that point of dissatisfaction, I met one person in Balboa Park. His name's Alex. He's from Germany, and he said, ever since I grew up, I had influence of my parents who told me that in life you should pursue goals, you should be a successful person, you should get PhD, you should get a good job, you should get a good family, you should be well-to-do, you should be able to travel and not limit yourself in any way. This is the goal, this is what you should do, achieve. And he said, I've gotten all this, but man, the life is draining me. It's hard, I'm not satisfied, I'm not satisfied, he was confessing to me. And I see that you're doing a good thing. I have a feeling that this is what I'm missing. So he took the Bhagavad Gita and he gave generous donation. And also another person I met at the UTC Mall in La Jolla. And I wouldn't say it was a horrible day in terms of how receptive people were, but you know, some struggles, sometimes people are not so nice. But one lady stopped and she's Hispanic and she said that, oh, look, this Krishna, because she knew about Krishna, she read Bhagavad Gita. She cried when she read Bhagavad Gita. And she took another copy, some more books, and she said, but don't worry, you're doing something so valuable for Krishna. He's watching you. And then she also said, how long you been here? How long you been doing this? And I said, well, maybe a couple hours. And I want to give you another donation. I know how sometimes people don't have, or it's not easy to convince somebody to give a donation. So I want to make sure that you have enough to give to people. So she, out of her own will, wanted to do it herself. So yes, to become a qualified with these Brahminical symptoms that the text was mentioning, the duty of a Brahman is to endeavor to know Krishna. And our attempts in distributing Krishna consciousness, chanting, distributing books, and studying books, chanting the holy name is a sure way to attain this Brahminical qualifications, Brahminical symptoms. And of course, everything solidified by approaching a spiritual master and receiving Diksha initiation. Anything else from you, Prabhus? Anything online?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vanessa? Mataji?
I have a question slightly about the Brahminical quality of honesty and truthfulness.
Yes.
If you can hear me well, sorry, I'm just concerned about the quality. So how do we, I understand it's more being very submissive to Krishna and his desires as being Brahminical, but when Krishna is telling someone to lie for them, how do we reason that if we're desiring to be as truthful and honest as we should be? Or if there's a material situation and, we're so encouraged to lie, I was wondering if you had any insight.
Mm-hmm. I heard this similar question my Guru Maharaj was asked, and one Mataji, she was saying that she's like a landlord and she rents apartments and houses, and she asked the question like that, and she was saying how sometimes people make a deposit and I forget to give the deposit back. or I willingly don't do it. And it looks like I'm stealing. I'm not exactly truthful. I'm not really embodying the quality of honesty. And she was trying to understand whether it's applicable and it's appropriate for someone who is initiated and someone who is supposed to, be a Brahman. And the understanding is that my Guru Maharaj was saying that that you can turn this money, for example, that you get as a deposit to the temple, and that would be for the benefit of a person who's donating. Or somehow you can use this, this extra deposits that you're not supposed to be getting, but out of circumstantially you are getting this. You can just use it in Krishna's service, and we will see it as, although it's not maybe truthful in the material sense, but spiritually, because you're getting people to contact devotional service, that's actually benefiting them. So if we doing that, I think I said that in classes before. I personally, maybe I'm wrong, but I personally don't see that it's a fault if we're trying to, by, of course, not very intensely, but by means like that, as I give an example, if we're trying to help people come to associate with, Swarupa Shakti, with devotional energy of Krishna, then it's, why not? Otherwise they will never give this money, otherwise they will never do it. So our duty is to, by any means, try to engage people in bhakti like that. But of course we're not trying to cheat people, and we're not trying to just make a scheme by presenting something that is untruthful and just by taking this money away. We're not trying to severely do that. But lightly, if it's not harmful, if people maybe without full realization, agyata sukriti, they are participating in this service. They're getting the benefit, we are getting the benefit because we are engaging them in service. So I would say, as long as it's appropriate, and as long as we get the blessings from our senior devotees, those who are maybe mentoring and guiding us, we can reveal this heart, what's happening, with maybe personal examples. And if we get a yes, then like an example of my Guru Maharaj, then we can do that. Otherwise, I think what would be helpful is to have some kind of example to get deeper and in more details of whether it's acceptable according to scripture and
Yes, thank you. Yes, yeah, I think it's, like you said, more in the spiritual, as we're trying to serve, a spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada, it's more in that spiritual Shakti that we're able to abide by Krishna's desires and give bhakti. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu, Daindar Prabhu. Yes.
A little editorial thing, but it's eliminating. Prabhupada would often use the word agnostic to mean Gnostic. Gnostic in Bengali or Sanskrit means atheistic. Doesn't exist. That's what Gnostic, not asti, right? Mm-hmm. But agnostic has a different derivation. It comes from gnosis, which is related to jnana, which is not, an orthodox agnostic will not only say that he doesn't believe in God, or he doesn't know if there's a God or not, but he'll also say that no one can know, and that's why they need to be converted also. But they're not, hard-framed non-believers, infidels as much. But the word is so similar, agnostic, Gnostic, that Prabhupada sometimes uses them interchangeally. So you may encounter that in some purport somewhere.
Thank you for that. Gnostic. Daindar Prabhu, you had something?
Prabhuji, thank you for a very nice class. I got one comment. See, if you fulfill rule and regulation, then it's not cheating, right?
If you fulfill what?
Rule and regulation.
Rules and regulations, yeah.
Then it's not a cheating. Somebody is doing like not paying the deposit back or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's not cheating.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. I guess I would see it as it's true, but depending also with the mood in which we also do it, right? We have according to Jiva Goswami, there's two things or two aspects in devotional service: is the activity itself, and also the mood, the intention, bhava, right? Cheshta and bhava, he says. So yes, when we do certain things with proper bhava, with proper intention, and as devotees, of course, we're not. We're trying to, those qualities of peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty. Yeah, people usually, when they see us, they trust us. They trust devotees. They see that these people are good people. I can invest in them. I can invest my time in them. That's the whole secret of why people are successful in preaching, is because people trust us. People have faith that what we're saying is bona fide, is truthful, So it's important to maintain the trust. That's another, coming back to this question of relationship, is that why we have problem with relationships is because we have problem with trust. Someone might not have qualities that I can't invest my trust into this devotee. Maybe he's not thoroughly so Krishna conscious, and have some improper motives or something. So that's the issue of trust. We don't have trust. That's why we're skeptical. We're hesitant to go deep into relationship with devotees. But how do we establish trust? It's we know, by Shravanam Kirtanam, right? By Priti Lakshanam, all these things. Yeah, so Cheshta and Bhava, activity and intention. Yeah.
I'm an inveterate editor, and so I always have some kind of editorial angle. In this famous verse, Atyahara Priyasa Chapadabo Niyamagraha. Niyamagraha is exactly related to that idea of not only the activity, but the feeling, the sentiment of the activity. Because just showing up is not enough. That has to be there. Without showing up for Mangalarti, it's not there. But if your mind is all over the place, or, it's just you're looking at the clock, when will it end? That's not going to help you. It has to be. The whole idea is the activities to awaken the feeling, because ultimately the goal is the feeling. It's prema, and then all the activities are expressions of that. But the activities themselves, without trying to also evoke the feeling, is not a safe path on bhakti. Mm-hmm. It's you're easily diverted that way.
Yeah, that's a question of faith. It makes a big difference in the atmosphere of a temple room, for example. If we hear the holy name attentively, and if we understand what's happening, if we hear the holy name and we're not falling asleep, and we're actually trying to call to Krishna, to engage in service, there's something alive inside. And if we hear or read scripture with also in the same mood and feelings, and I guess I'm saying that to also encourage myself to do this, because I'm lacking in this. So yeah, it makes a big difference in the atmosphere. Very big difference. That's why, friendships is important. Because when we have relationships, when we're friendly to each other, when we appreciate each other, when we're trying to sincerely give attention and mind to the practices, then Krishna is present. We can feel it. The holy name becomes so intensely merciful, and so we can really see it. We can sense the presence. It's not jnana, it's vijnana, right? Astikyam. By having this faith in the holy name, then we realize that the Krishna is the holy name. So we conclude here. Thank you so much for your attention. Happy New Year's. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhishta kripa sindhubhyo patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo.